I think what's also been pointed out is that the fact that she falls apart immediately afterwards in the arms of Jack Houston shows that she's really been trying to front and with this very frightening encounter with her husband's love, and it's really quite vulnerable for her as well. You know, that show of strength was again one of these masks that we all must wear at different points in our life to protect ourselves, to get through relationships or jobs. That's the question that fascinated Christian and I when we spoke about it in his backyard. The idea of a cynical con man is not as interesting to me as the idea of people with real hearts who kind of are doing what everybody does. Everybody, my whole life, I've watched have to survive and adapt and decide who they're going to be. And I think that's what the last two films were also about. I've seen every actor up here in major collaboration. Jeremy Renner brought us the beautiful song of Delilah, which is one of my, the most delightful movies, Delilah-ful movies in the movie, when he sings it with Christian, together in their friendship and their bonding, and Jeremy describing the interior of that casino, or it's an old resort that he wants to turn into a casino. Jeremy has done a good deal of renovating in his life, and I knew that he would just have a great. You can feel his palpable passion, and it's just fantastic to see him as this guy who's truly enthusiastic in an economy with no money. Jennifer, the scene where she and Christian have the power of intention, that came together very quickly because there were other ideas that had been scripted, and they never quite felt right to me for their final scene. There was something heavy or dark about them, and I just felt that, thank God, revealed itself as the right scene for these two to resolve things, for her to do her passive-aggressive, if she's a Picasso of passive-aggressive karate, so that was a fantastic demonstration. There's a genius in it, that is soulful, and for him to accept it while being confounded by it and to break up, if she does it, it's okay. If she breaks up, it's okay. And you're welcome that I helped the mob, give you that plan. And also, when Bradley apologizes to these two in the hallway, enormous collaborations, between him talking about the glass in his face from her smashing him over the head and apologizing, and then one of the funniest moments in the movie, this guy, he just goes, after he goes, "I'm sorry," he just kind of goes, he can't even say anything to him, He's like, well, okay, this is such a strange situation with him. My love's lover, who's my FBI agent. I have nothing really to say to you. But life is filled with that. Cooper coming into the scene with Amy all amped. What I love about each of these actors is their athletic passion. Every actor had passion to be there. We're there for the same reason. They get into the character, as Christian said, and then they're willing to move. And that's what's exciting. So we can move within that character. We can do things. So Bradley comes in and does it we can do it all amped up, and Amy's defended, and suddenly we huddle and say, tell her you love her. And I don't even think we told you we were going to do that. And then in the scene, something chemically, it just changed, in her. And she just kind of melted. And suddenly she's leaning forward to kiss him, which had not happened in any take. And that's because we collaborated and came up with that. And then it totally makes strong the moment she chooses to reveal herself.
I'm going after a lot of kisses that are unscripted.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Russell,
yes.
In the reality, Weinberg's wife was 50 years old, and she committed suicide. And here. Okay. And Weinberg's mistress was really English in the reality. So how and why did you choose the details? You created. How change the reality?
Well, like I said, The Fighter is based on true incidents and true people, but, you fictionalize or collapse events to serve themes and questions. I wanted to emphasize the women more in The Fighter. They were really there, but I wanted to bring them forward because they seem to me to be more at the soul of the story. Silver Linings Playbook is based on a novel. It's straight up fiction. It was in some ways my most personal film about my own experience with my bipolar member of my family, and the same for Mr. De Niro, very personal. So we put a lot of our personal experience into that movie. Where's fact, where's fiction? I'm making cinema. So I'm going to tell the best myths, the best stories, the best operas from an amalgamation of true events that inspire me and true characters and fiction imagination and what these actors help co-create. So that's why, to go to those themes of reinvention, I understand those two things. I thought it was interesting that someone would choose to reinvent themselves as British and then for the purposes of conning rather than just being British. And then I think it's interesting if people look it up and say, oh, she really was British. And then, well, go home and think about that. You know, because that's like a thematic question to me of how someone presents or aspires to present themselves. And for her, when you have someone, I would rather have a character. I'm not doing historical drama. The first script that Eric did was historical drama more. And Eric wrote a beautiful script that was more true to the events. But that's for another director to make. That's not my strong suit. My strong suit is character. And so when you have a character like Rosalind, who's endlessly fascinating and reminds me of many people I've known, and in a genius way, even as she's maddening, I'd rather go with some of the hope and spring in that end of that marriage. You know, and I know people who have killed themselves or tried to kill themselves, and so that was something I thought about, and people close to me, and I made this choice. You know, I thought it was a more alive choice.
Hi, I have a question. Speaking of Robert De Niro, brilliant casting, by the way, all around. I wanted to open this up to the filmmakers. Whose decision was it to have Robert De Niro uncredited in this movie? And also if anyone wanted to comment on the look that he had. I'm over here. The look that he had in the movie, which I thought was really interesting. And also, Christian, I'd love for you to comment on just acting with him, because it seems like Irv might have been a fan of, De Niro's films back in that area, like Mean Streets or Taxi Driver. And, the way that the character...
Reality.
Yeah, exactly.
There,
Very, very, very meta, very meta. But,
Mr. Taleggio, I love your films.
So if you could just talk, since Bob isn't here, if you could talk a little bit about the fact that he's uncredited, which I thought was really interesting, and also his look. And Christian, if you could just comment on shaping that character, Irv, and acting with De Niro in that scene.
Choosing De Niro, I think.
Yeah, be uncredited. Well, I mean, Robert De Niro is someone I've known for over 10 years and got very close to making Silver Linings Playbook with him, and he's also close to Bradley, and so we're always talking to him, and certain things are dreams that you don't know. Gee, wouldn't it be great? Just like Jennifer joining the cast, wouldn't it be amazing? It may not happen, but maybe it will happen. So let's at least talk to them about it. And it begins, at the very least, it inspires a creative conversation that's going to cause me to write a really good character. Because I did that with everybody. I feel I'm auditioning for all of my actors when I go to their homes and we talk about the character. It inspires me to create and deliver for them the richest character with the broadest range of human behavior that's a person that you're going to remember. So then that makes me, I leave their house and I write some scenes. And I did that with each of them. So De Niro is extremely meticulous when he's really passionate about something, and we had endless conversations. He loved the fact that this man spoke Arabic, which happens to be one of the true things in the story, which is crazier than fiction, that there was a mobster who spoke Arabic and flummoxed this group. We based him on a collection of gangsters that from New Jersey. They did call New Jersey farmers, gangsters farmers. If you were from Miami or New York, you say, what are you, a farmer? Which is what he calls Irving, what are you, a farmer? And he was really into meticulously constructing this guy. We looked at very many gangsters. We wanted to do something he'd never done before. I do like telling the story of when he met the whole cast and he shook their hands the day we shot that scene. And I think, I don't know, I think it might have been Bob's idea to be uncredited. I think he may have preferred to just be a secret surprise in the movie. And after he met everybody, he said, but who's that guy? I said, we just shook his hand. That's Christian Bale. He goes, no, that guy. I go, yeah, that's Christian Bale. That's the guy. He goes, he just stared. He said, wow, he looks so different. He looks great. He was he didn't realize he had just met him. And then I had to reintroduce him again.
It was absolutely delightful to work with Bob, and such an iconic actor. But very quickly, he's one of the guys. He's very ridiculously easy to work with, and just superb in every manner. And for Irv in those scenes, he's very much out of his depth. This is something that has become way too serious. He's usually used to being absolutely in control, but this is something he wants nothing to do with. But he's forced into those situations, so there's a sort of blind terror that he has is being at the table with this man.
Hi, I got a question here for David. I do a music show, and for watching this film last night here was like a magic carpet ride teleporting me back to my adolescence, particularly the ELO track, which I hadn't heard in about 20 years. The Live and Let Die and his stuff like this. How did you come about choosing this thing? And also talk about the importance of music as a kind of teleportation device, as it were.
Well, again, everything comes from character, and it comes from what you love. I give the characters in the film what I love. So Duke Ellington begins the picture of their love affair together, and that's one of my favorite tracks, Jeep's Blues, that I've known for over 30 years. And I thought the fact that those two would love Jeep's Blues said everything about them. They had chosen lives of elegance like Duke Ellington, like Edward Kennedy Ellington. They had chosen who to be as he did, and they loved. They had an elegance about them that they chose, and they had a passion for that. ELO, the music, much of it is scripted prior to writing them, and play some of it on the set even while you're shooting a scene. You create a mood. I'll carry a little Jawbone with my iPad, and I'll play music just to break a spell or create a spell. And then things change with our extraordinary music supervisors. I've done several films with Sue Jacobs and Philip Tallman, our music editor. And Jeff Lynne, the founder of ELO, happened to have a song called Overture 10538, which turns out to be the zip code of where I grew up, which is a very freaky thing. And I never talked to him about it. But he loved the film, and he opened up unreleased tracks to us. So there's an unreleased. That's just like magic. You have classic-sounding songs that have never seen the light of day. Long Black Robe, Claire de Lune. These are tracks that he's been sitting on for over 20, 30 years. Ella Fitzgerald, when that plays and these two are on the phone together, the opening of It's the Lovely, I believe that hope and that romance, the opening strings of Cole Porter's da 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 da. It's like old-fashioned movie music, and they're on the phone. It feels like a real moment between the two of them where they think maybe this can happen when you're feeling stuck in a situation that isn't so good. Live and Let Die was something that was visited. I love using songs that feel overlooked or not to be taken seriously. That's gold for me. Like him singing in the car in The Fighter with Melissa, I Started a Joke. That was a song that was mocked when I was an adolescent, but I came to grow up and think that's kind of an amazing, beautiful song, and it's profound. And to have him and Melissa sing it, in that car together, became a very meaningful, poetic moment between the two of them. So Live and Let Die is like that. It's a cinematic song, and it was in production. And maybe Jennifer, are you ready to talk again? You want to talk a little bit about Live and Let Die? Do you want to talk about Live and Let Die? Yes.
Yes.
So that's why it's a very musical movie. It is operatic in that sense also, rhythmically and musically, and Live and Let Die. Tell anything you would like about Live and Let Die, anything that occurs to you at all about it.
Well, David, well, David came into my, we were going to go over the script and before we started shooting, and he said he had a vision of me, Rosalind, wearing yellow cleaning gloves and running through the entire house singing Live and Let Die. And I thought that sounded incredible. How is it going to make sense? And then it's kind of, I think the song is, and Bradley brought this up the other night, because I'm so stupid with these. I was just like, yeah, I'll dance, I'll sing, whatever. But it's kind of, she's so angry, and she's at this point, she's been lied to for so long. And she's been left out of everything. And she's getting to this point where this marriage that she's been fighting for so long, that she's been imprisoning this man for so many years in this marriage, and then she's finally ready to just let it die.